Welcome to Bible Creation Summer Camp 2023. The agenda is for July and August 2023, and the reference material can be found in our websites 144,000teachers.org, in the menu Generation 144K, and numbers 1317.org. This is the schedule for the Bible Creation Summer Camp 2023 for the month of July, and it corresponds to the fourth and part of the fifth biblical months, and it is based on the days of creation 1 to 7. We also have divided it in two cycles, starting with July the 6th for the first day of creation, following with the 7th, 10, 11, 13, 14, and the 17. We observe the Sabbath, the biblical Sabbath, so therefore there will be no camp at that date. And following now also with the biblical month, the fourth biblical month, which reads from the 16th, 17th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, and the 27th. The red numbers being the biblical calendar and the black numbers always being the Gregorian calendar. When there are blue boxes, these are holy days, either the Sabbath or in this case here, the new moon. We continue now with the second cycle for the creation days 1 to 7, Gregorian reckoning first, starting with July the 18th, passing to the 20th, the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, 27th, and 31st. Again, we observe the 7-day Sabbath, the new moon, and in this case, of course, we have another 7-day Sabbath. The Gregorian reckoning has been read. Now we're going to look at the rest of the fourth month. So it will start with the 28th, then we come to the 30th, and then we pass to the fifth month, as indicated here, on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 11th. The days that are off as well is to give an opportunity for our workers to rest. So this is the schedule for July 2023 for the Biblical Creation Summer Camp 2023. This is the proposed agenda for July 2023 with the two cycles of the 7 days of creation. Days number 1 to 4 here are presented, and it can be repeated for the other 7 days, and as well you can add new activities if you desire to do so. We start with the first days, the first 4 days, and then the next slide will be the last 3 days, making up the 7 days of creation. What is important to remind you is when you do, whether it's in school or whether it's in Bible Creation Camp, it is important to have a schedule. So we have offered here some hours that you can proceed to start with and when you could finish day by day. And also it always starts with the same basis, welcome and prayer, scripture song, and then we offer the days of creation with an explanation. The material, as we mentioned, is found in Generation 144K in the menu of 144,000 teachers. So all of these are available, and you may have to do a bit of research to find out where it is if you do not know this page of 144,000 teachers, Generation 144K. So that will make you familiar with what we teach during the year to our students. So here you have, we can go into a parallel just to show you that it corresponds exactly the same, and the next 3 days will be identical as far as how we begin, and we keep adding. Of course, the material here changes from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 and day 4 of creation. Then we also introduce the 7 pillars always, with the explanation of the first, second, third, and fourth day. And then we have a mission story with also choosing a hero, always based on the Bible. And as well, doing roles play. We believe that is very important for the children to participate as well. And if you can even have a bit of a costume that they can wear, this is not against what we believe in, to presenting some of the stories of the Bible. And you can even have the sanctuary and present beautiful truth that comes out from the sanctuary as well. Again, we have given you our website of 144,000 teachers and Numbers 1317 that you have already studied as lifestyle educators. So you can definitely find beautiful sources to present to the young people during the Bible Creation Summer Camp. And then we pass to now more fun work, you could say, but at the same time, it's to instruct the young people. And we have an art time where also we ask for, we call them the camp keepers, that they clean up after themselves. It's very important. And of course, we always give a time to rest. So as you follow again, we have here a program that's called Knock Knock, where we go door to door once a week to invite the people, because we're going to have an activities at the end of each week, especially for the parents and guests, to see what we have done. And then it's the young people who does the reporting. Then also we want to introduce the 8 laws of health, very important, starting with the first one and then passing to the second, etc. We have 8 laws. And then we pass on to nutrition class, nutrition presentation, because we offer also a meal to our camp keepers and also to the camp leaders. So as you can see, it's all organized and it follows the same pattern, which is kind of easy. But then here we have a bit of a change because we have a bit more of a longer time. So we invite also for here in this case is the art time period. But this one is a walk in the park where we go and identify the birds and the edible plants for survival, etc. So you can see again, this is coming back after the lunch in this case. And this also is a walk in the park, but this time it's for wild herbs, and make a collage of those herbs. It's very important to get those young people active and make like an album. So at the end of each week or at the end of the whole program, they can bring them home as a souvenir, but also for instruction. Here we have another particular fun time, which is gardening, planting. Get some small pots, some seeds, some dirt, and teach the young people how to care for their plants, because they will need to water those plants during the time of the camp. Then we have a session on clay and a session on charcoal. And in clay, what is really fun, you can do the poultice, but you can also teach the young people how to do a mask with clay. Whatever the colors, we have worked with white, gray, green. We find green very brittle, so we stay with white and gray. However, there are other colors, yellow, pink, of clay, so we have used that in the past. And always let the camp keepers, the young people, to learn how to clean up after themselves. Of course, the camp leaders can help them, but it's good that they learn their chores as well. And of course, we finish around 16 hours here with prayer. And that is always, when it says all teams, that means you gather the teams together. When it says per teams, that means they do the work each in their assigned area in the tent or the building where you're holding this camp. So we hope that this helped. And as we mentioned, you can choose to change those activities if you like, but perhaps for the first week of days number 1 to 7, you may want to follow these activities and then just adjust them for the next weeks. So this is a template of an agenda for the month of July 2023, which in the next slide will carry you to the last 3 days of this particular first cycle. Following the last slide now, we have again the last 3 days of the cycle of the 7 days creation. And this is again for July 2023. So this is part actually of the first cycle that we have demonstrated through the calendar. And again, you will find there is a parallel with the hours and also with the particular activities that we're suggesting them, and we believe that you should start maybe with this, especially for the first cycle, and then you can choose to add new activities as you get familiar with the plan. So we invite you to also come up with some interesting activities that we may not have thought about to keep the young people really interested and especially really learning. But always keep in mind we want to continue with the same pattern at the beginning, the welcoming, the prayer, the scripture song, and also the days of creation. These should be repeated for the 4 cycles, which are total by the time we finish the particular Bible creation summer camp that we're setting up this year. So this particular area here, we encourage you to keep, and there is always some beautiful things that you can add to it, the same as the 8 laws of health. So this was the second part of the slides that we wanted you to see. The schedule for the Bible Creation Summer Camp 2023 Gregorian Reckoning now for the month of August also is divided in 2 cycles. The first cycles corresponding to the 1st of August 2023 Gregorian Reckoning, following with the 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 8th, 9, and 10. This is the first cycle which we present right here. Of course, it corresponds to the 5th biblical month, the date being the 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, and 21 for the creation days 1 to 7. This is the first full cycle. Then passing to the second cycle, again, we're starting here for the days number 1 to 7 Gregorian Reckoning, corresponding to the 14, 15, 16, 17, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And then we added another day, the 24th, for celebration. This will be the closing of the camp for the summer. And then we're going to have a special again for that day. We have not mentioned it per se when we were looking at the agenda, but when you come to the end of the weeks, the 7th day, we have a bonfire and we invite the people we have seen door to door, we have met door to door, and the parents to come and celebrate with us. So this will be presented as you go along in the agenda, and you will realize more and more as you do it how we have programmed it for you. So this is basically the covering again of both the Gregorian Reckoning and the biblical month. And notice as we pass by those numbers, as we mentioned, the 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, we always bypass the Sabbath, which we keep holy. This is the biblical Sabbath corresponding in particular here to the 5th month. But when we come to this particular date here that you look here, the 1st is always the new moon, which we keep as a holy convocation as well. And then we enter into the rest of the week, of the biblical week, the creation week of the 7 days of creation. And that corresponds to the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. And now we're passing to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, which now we have passed to the 6th month, 6th biblical month. It sounds intricate, but when you look at the calendar itself, we indicate the red number being the biblical calendar, the black number being the Gregorian calendar, and the blue boxes are always holy convocation, whether it's a Sabbath, in the case of here as you look at the 15th, 22nd, 29, or a new moon being the 1st. So we hope that this is very easy to understand, and as you start practicing those calendars and those dates, especially for the people who are maybe visiting with us and do not quite understand our schedule, it's a good way of explaining it. Always mention the Gregorian Reckoning and the biblical reckoning in this case here. So this is the schedule, the 2 cycles for August 2023 for the Bible Creation Summer Camp 2023. The agenda for August 2023 also including, as we showed you with the calendar, 2 cycles of 7 days of creation, days number 1 to 4 on this particular slide. And this repeats every 7 days like we have done so far. We definitely encourage you to find some new activities, respecting again, especially the first parts of the session here as we present the first 4 days of that cycle. And here is where you may want to change. Yet we like you to continue with the knock-knock because we're going to have another 2 cycles where we have 7 days of the week of creation where we're going to have the bonfire and inviting the people to come and celebrate with us. And keep in mind the 7th day of creation for this particular study corresponds to basically not necessarily the 7-day Sabbath. We're basically working on the 7 days simply to make it easier to add a full cycle. So here we have, again, the repetition of the same program, but you're more than welcome to add some new activities as you go for the next 2 cycles in August, yet still respecting the first part as we encourage you to do. So we will not repeat again the activities as you can read them for yourself. And we have this particular video also presented on a PDF, and you can find it in Generation 144K, but you have to go at the very, very bottom of the session, where the section where we have a part now for the workers, the youth workers, the gospel medical missionary evangelists, and this is where we have put the camp agenda, because basically those are the young adult now that will be taking care of the Bible creation camp. These are the last 3 days for August 2023 of the first and second cycles of the days of creation, days 5 to 7. Blessed Bible Creation Summer Camp 2023, prepared by 144,000teachers.org for Generation 144K. For questions or suggestions, we invite you to contact us at 144,000teachers@gmail.com. For reference material, please visit our website at 144,000teachers.org in the menu Generation 144K and numbers 1317.org.